M. Natarajan, past Governor Nazir, awardees, Mrs. Braha Bezel, Mr. K.T. Srinivas Raja, and Dr. M. Ramasubramani, my dear distinguished Rotarians, invitees, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be a part of this program when you're honoring three very important people who have toiled very hard to come up in life. When I was listening to them, there's one common factor I found in all of them said that we had difficult beginnings. And difficult roads always lead to beautiful destinations. And this is one of the greatest destinations, receiving an award from Rotary International through this club. And I must tell you that more than your being honored by receiving the award, Rotary International is very happy. Blessed to award good people like you. In fact, the reason why we choose people and award them is more to encourage the others to emulate you. We would like you to serve as examples. Today, Rotary is very busy trying to showcase people to the youth. This is the way to live. Now, we would like every Rotarian to be an example to youth. Similarly, when we find people like you doing exemplary service in your respective vocations, we would like to honor you. In fact, vocational service in Rotary is nothing but trying to put Rotary to work in the places where we work. And when non-Rotarians put Rotary to work in their places, it is even more gratifying for us. Because we find sometimes Rotarians not being Rotarians, and we find non-Rotarians being more Rotarians than Rotarians. And this is perhaps the reason why we are inspired by people who practice Rotary, although they are not a part of it. We would like to really pay our gratitude to all of you for having set the trend. And awarding you is nothing but an expression of gratitude. I remember in one of these award presentation ceremonies when I was in Chennai many years ago, the person who was receiving the award on behalf of corporate group asked me, why are you giving this award to us? I said, we recognize you for your integrity, your honesty, the principled manner in which you've been carrying out your business. I said, what is that? This is what I'm expected to do. Well, why do you want to recognize people for doing just what they're expected to do? But remember, the social degradation that has been witnessed in India is now felt so badly that we would like to call good people and say, here are good people. Come on, emulate them. Be like them. Because this is what we really want to happen. How long can we talk about Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and Nelson Mandela? How long can we talk about them? We would like more examples to come. Recent examples. And that is why the youngsters in India are still looking. Whom can I emulate? There is a tremendous shortage in India. We are the largest populated country, and yet not many good examples to emulate. And therefore, Rotary is now very, very busy in identifying good people. We would like all our Rotarians to practice the four-way test, to be examples of integrity, examples of honesty, and make sure that we put Rotary to work in the places where we work. Now, Rotarians are expected to be scrupulously honest. We are expected to follow the four-way test of Rotary. I remember many years ago in the United States, there was an advocate by name Abraham Lincoln, who later on went on to become the President of the United States of America. When he was a practicing advocate, one of his clients went to him and said, sir, I have committed a murder, but I have enough evidence to prove that I have not committed it. You are a leading advocate. Here are the papers. Please go through it. And I'm sure that you can use your intelligence to save me from being punished. Mr. Abraham Lincoln took the papers, went through the papers, and he found for himself that this case was technically very strong, but ethically very weak. He told the client, sorry, I can't argue this case for you. The client said, I'm prepared to pay any amount of fees for you. He said, no, I will not, because when I argue this case in the court of law, at the back of my mind, my conscience will keep telling me, Lincoln, you're a liar. Lincoln, you're a liar. And I cannot live with such a guilty conscience. The message Mr. Lincoln was trying to convey was very, very clear. He said, I am prepared to sell my professional time, but not my conscience. And this is what vocational service in Rotary is all about. Not just to accept money and argue cases just to win, because you have the intelligence. Intelligence is not as important as integrity. And let me tell you, my dear friends, today we are looking for people with intelligence and integrity, a combination of intelligence and integrity. And if this combination can work, I'm sure India will become one of the greatest countries in the world. We have intelligent people lacking integrity. We have people with integrity lacking in intelligence. And what we are trying to do is to connect the two. And once we succeed in doing that, with the kind of population that we have, with the kind of human resources that we have, India can become the rulers of the world. Unfortunately, there is a decline, a deterioration in the ethical standards of life of people in this country. And we need to talk about this more and also use Rotary as a weapon to deal with this. The world needs Rotary, India needs Rotary more than the rest of the world. Remember that we are in a situation where we will have to really change the entire quality of population. I'm also forced to tell you that the biggest challenge in India is to humanize the human race. We will have to bring humanity into every human being. Unless we do that, we can't succeed. I was very happy for a few things. I remember, I think Mrs. Braga was saying, when she accepted the award, I found her to become very emotional when she said, I'm missing my parents. And that's perhaps very important. I'm very, very happy for that. Because people who respect their parents are bound to succeed in life. I always keep telling, life does not come with a manual, but it comes with a mother. Make your mother your manual. And if you can do that, you're bound to succeed. I know people, all those successful people in the world are those who respect their parents. And if you disrespect them, you're bound to fail. And I can say that for sure. That was one thing that I was very happy about when ma'am received the award, and she said this award is meant for my parents. And I'm sure they must be watching all this happen from heaven. And that's a very big tribute. To be grateful to your parents is the most important human quality in life, no matter your age. I thought, madam, that you started off in 1967 at Chidambaram, for 50 years before. 50 years. And after 50 years, she still talks about her parents. That's very important. No wonder you have succeeded. Thank you very much. I've learned a lot of lessons because every time I come to a meeting like this, more than trying to speak to an audience, I only get to learn. Every meeting is a learning experience. And when Mr. Srinivas Raja said, I'd gone through poverty before I really came to this position. And remember, poverty is the biggest problem in India. Politicians are not as much concerned about this problem because they want poverty to continue. I'm sorry for saying that. 70 years after independence, we're still talking about poverty being a problem. Sometimes I'm forced to question Mahatma Gandhi. Why did you get freedom for India? You challenged the British the other days When you got the freedom, you told them that we Indians are capable of managing ourselves. But have you proved it? We have not been able to find solutions to the poverty problem. There are children who are suffering for want of food, clothing, shelter. What are we trying to do? Please ask this question to yourself. What are the governments trying to do? What is Rotary trying to do? We have to be more serious in finding solutions to these problems. Poverty and prosperity never go together. And therefore, when he said that my father was struggling, we didn't have food to eat, he had to just look at people eating and then probably say, when will I get this kind of food? And perhaps today he's in a business where he gives very good quality food to all of us. But then, please remember that there is no point in enjoying food at A2B if people are still going to fight for hunger every day. I'm guilty, my dear friends, I'm guilty when we spend loads of money on many things in life. I still feel that somewhere down the line, we are not human. We're not human yet. Maybe we are privileged. You and I are privileged. God has been partial to us. He's been kind to us. He's given us more than what He's given to others. But then, unless everyone in this world gets food to eat, a place to live in, and clothes to wear, I think humanity will continue to be incomplete as a creation of God. I would like to share this with all of you because I believe that we are still not sure why we are in Rotary. We're not sure what we are trying to do. Sometimes the kind of money that we spend on unnecessary things, our priorities, just make me wonder, are we still on the right track? You know, course correction is something that everybody has to do, whether it is an individual, institution, or organization, a nation, whatever. So we need to take corrective actions, make sure that we don't lose track, not lose sight of what we're supposed to do. And I'm sure that all of us, if we can become right-thinking Rotarians, we will be able to accomplish what we are really meant to do. My dear friends, I remember Aristotle once said, excellence is never an accident. It always is the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Yes, indeed. I'm sure you would have had plenty of choices. When you began your career in 1967, you might have wanted to become a doctor or something else, I don't know. You would have had plenty of choices. Similarly, all of us, an IPS officer. You know, when I see IPS officers, I always look at them and say, why did they choose this profession? Perhaps the most difficult in the world. You know, real difficult position. Because I remember, police officers, they have to strike a balance between humanity, justice, and also tackle crimes. Soft-hearted people cannot be in your department. Sometimes, being too soft-hearted could probably allow crimes to happen. So, you need to be stiff. But then, at the same time, the human touch in the police service is something that many of us have been talking about. But remember, when they had to choose their professions, I'm sure they would have all been in crossroads. But intelligent choice of what they wanted to do, and their destiny of having come to this level are perhaps indications of how well they have managed to make their professions a passion. You do it with a passion. I remember in one of the meetings somebody said, I'm very, very happy because I have a great passion for jewelry designing and I made that passion my profession. But there was another man who said, I became an IAS officer by accident. I didn't want to become, but I became. And he said, after becoming, I made my profession my passion. Either way, you have to make your profession your passion. Only then can you succeed. So I'm sure there is a lot of commonness between a profession and a passion. Vocational service in Rotary calls for people to be honest at all times. And I'm sure that the most important avenue of Rotary is vocational service. It doesn't matter whether you do community service or not, because I always believe that the best community service that you and I can do is to be honest in our professions. That's all. Nothing else. If you are honest with your profession, that is the best community service you can do. You don't have to do anything else. And this is what we expect from all Rotarians. Friends, I am not sure how much time I can take. I know all of you are tired of listening. There's only one thing that I can do is to take another 5 or 10 minutes to share with you 7 serious suggestions to make this Sunday a superlative one. Okay? I will just give you 7 serious suggestions. First is, I want all of you to know that you will die one day. You will surely die. I also want all of you to know your loved ones will also die. Remember, each day is a gift of God. When you wake up in the morning, please thank God for giving you one more day to live. That's it. We are not sure. All of us go to sleep, we set an alarm with the hope that we'll be alive to switch it off in the morning. I don't think any one of us will set an alarm and say, maybe I'll die tonight, I may not even be waking up in the morning. No, there is that hope. But remember, one day you will not be able to switch off the alarm. And that day we don't know when it will come. This is the first lesson I want all of you to learn, because we have to shed our ego. I find that the biggest disease that is affecting humanity the world over is ego. It is not polio. Polio eradication is important, but ego eradication is even more important. So remember, first thing I want to tell you is, please shed your egos. Second thing, don't run after happiness without knowing what happiness is all about. I don't know. Sometimes I find people running after happiness, thinking that this is what is going to make me happy. But then they don't even know what real happiness is all about. And let me tell you one thing. If you want me to describe happiness in one sentence, I will simply say, honesty is happiness. That's all. Very simple. If you're going to be honest, you're going to be happy. Otherwise, no. You'll never be happy. The third thing is, don't lose yourself. You can't make everyone around you happy. Now, if I've come to Chennai today, if I'm going to speak, I'm sure I'm not going to make every one of you happy, because some of you are not happy with what I'm saying. Obviously. Obvious. And I don't want to please everyone. I'm not living my life to please everyone. I am here to please my own conscience. Tonight, when I go to sleep, I must sleep peacefully. I believe that my conscience is the best pillow. I can't come and praise somebody for doing nothing. I can't come and just talk for the sake of saying that Rotary is the greatest organization in the world. No, I can't say that. I'm not here to please everyone, but I'm here to speak the truth, to be honest, to make sure that I sleep well tonight. And this is a very important quality for all of us. Being true to your conscience. Now the fourth thing is, please don't be a perfectionist. Nobody in this world is perfect. I'm not perfect either. Not even Mother Teresa. Not even Mahatma Gandhi. But then the difference between Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and you and me is that they were closer to perfection than you and me. They believed in moving closer to perfection. Every day they thought, I must take one step closer to perfection. And this is what is called real progress. We have to move one step closer to perfection. I'm sure all of you know that in one of the interviews to select a person to fill in the vacancy created by a chief accountant of a chartered accountant's firm after having put in 40 years of service. The man retired. They advertised in the papers, and then many people applied for the job. And then, I remember the chairman was asking one of the candidates, what is 3 times 7? And this man thought for a while and he said 22. And then he went out and then took the calculator and put 3 into 7, he got 21. He said, "Chah, I missed this job." And he went away. But then after a week, he got a letter, "You've been appointed chief accountant of this firm." He was surprised. He went there, joined the company. After about 1 week during lunchtime, he saw the chairman walking on the corridor. He went running to him and said, "Mr. Chairman, in the interview you asked me what is 3 times 7, as I said 22, but how did you pick me?" He said, "You had no choice because yours was the closest to the correct answer." Now, perfection is just about that. When somebody asks you what is 3 times 7, at least say 20 or 22. Don't say 105 or 200 or 300. That's all. Very simple. Just getting one step closer to perfection. That's what Mother Teresa did. That's what Mahatma Gandhi did. What you and I are not doing is that. Fifth one is be answerable to all your actions. Any action that you take, you can't disown it tomorrow. I must stand by it till the end. Many times I find people taking decisions and then disowning them. So I didn't say that. Because if it goes wrong, they'll say I didn't say that. If it goes right, they'll say no, I only said that. Taking credit all the time and not taking the blame for the mistakes that we make. So you have to be answerable for all your actions. Please remember, my dear friends, that you are not the boss. God is the only boss. Sixth, keep investing in yourself. It's not selfish to invest in yourself. I keep investing in myself. Today, at the end of the day, when I go back, I would have learned lessons from each and every one of you. And I would try to become better, richer knowledge in terms of, trying to gain information, character building, knowledge, intelligence, whatever. So you need to invest in yourself to make yourself a better human being. It's very important to become a better human being every day. And the seventh most important thing is material wealth doesn't matter. It is not going to come to your deathbed at all. I'm telling you one thing for sure. Not any one of us is the owner of anything in the world. Nobody can own anything. A to B is not yours. I'm saying that. I'm sorry, I'm saying that. You know why? The reason is because, many times people come into my school, they look at it and say, "Are you the owner?" I look at it and say, "Are you the owner?" God is the owner of this. God owns everything in this world. We are only tenants. Just given a chance to run an institution, a restaurant, or a dance academy, or maybe be in government service, or to be the president of the Handball Association, whatever it's just a small passing phase in your life. You're not the owner. Everything in life is mortal. None of us is immortal. Life is all about equality. Life is all about unity. Rotary speaks only of equality and unity, nothing else. We are all the same. And please remember, my dear friends, as I keep telling everyone, life is like a game of chess. Once the game is over, the king and the pawn go back into the same box. There are no special boxes for the kings. No. No matter what happens, once you die, you're done. That's it. It doesn't matter how huge your house is. It doesn't matter how big your bank balance is. It doesn't matter how recent your car is. It doesn't matter how powerful your position in life is. Because at the end, the size of our graves will all be the same. And as I was saying, many years ago, we used to say that all that we need is about 6 by 3 feet of land. Today, you don't even need that because there are electric motoriums. They will push your body in and that's it, you're done. I always keep telling people, you're either burnt and forgotten or buried and forgotten. Now, my dear friends, maybe some of you may not like what I'm saying, it's okay. But that is the truth of life. Someday, one day, we're going to be done away with them. Not any one of us is indispensable. Life will go on. Please remember that your birth certificate contains your name, your father's name, your mother's name, your date of birth, and your place of birth. Your death certificate will also contain only that. Your name, where you died, when you died. Nobody is going to say past district governor, Rotary International, Chamber of Commerce, president, all that. No biodata is attached. Please remember that the real fact of life is that all of us, the beginning and the end, are the same, no matter who it is. Whether it is Donald Trump, whether it's Narendra Modi, whether it is you, me, anyone in this world. All of us have the same beginnings and the same end. So this is exactly what I want to say. Please get to understand human life before you die. And the earlier you understand human life, the better. That's why we are saying better late than never, but then continue to work hard to understand the real meaning of human life. And once we understand the real meaning of human life, I'm sure that every one of us will become a better human being. And that is the biggest community service that you and I can do, anyone in this auditorium can do. Please carry this message with you. Continue to appreciate good people. Continue to emulate them. Take the best out of everyone. Being in Rotary is a big advantage. You get to meet so many people. Lots of good things to learn from everyone. And I must really tell you that when Nani Palkiwala was invited to St. Stephen's College many years ago, the management of the college felt that bringing him a person of his stature who was an eminent lawyer, who had served as the Indian ambassador to the United States, they just brought him to the college and they said, this man coming to our college and addressing the students and old students and parents will really build up a reputation for our institution. He was invited, he accepted, he came, and then remember, he started off by saying, ladies and gentlemen, I'm extremely happy to be back at the college where I studied. But let me begin by confessing that real education in my life began the day I left this college. And this is true with most of us. After we pass out from our universities, when we get into life, we begin to learn. And I must tell you that personally, I have learned much more out of being a Rotarian than I did by attending schools, colleges, and universities. Rotary is a wonderful teacher. It's got the best curriculum in the world. It keeps telling us that God is one, mankind is one, there is no religious bias, nothing. And in fact, I remember in one of my interviews in Australia, when I was asked, somebody asked me this question, sir, who's your founder? And I said, Paul Harris. Then they asked me, who's Paul Harris? An Indian, American, German? And then I looked up and said, someone who belongs to India is called an Indian. Someone who belongs to Germany is called a German. Someone who belongs to Japan is called a Japanese. Someone who belongs to Pakistan is called a Pakistani, all right? And how do we say it? And I said, Paul Harris is a Rotarian because he belongs to the whole world. Now, my dear friends, I want you to understand that Rotary is one organization which keeps telling us every day that you are a part of the globe. We are all global citizens. We can't think too small. We will have to think big and make sure that we identify ourselves with the rest of the world. And if you want the world to be peaceful, every Rotarian must begin to have peace inside his heart. peace in your heart, peace in your family, peace in your Rotary Club, peace in your Rotary district, and ultimately you can contribute to the world peace. Otherwise, there is no way we can contribute to the world peace. So if you want to promote international understanding, if you want to promote world understanding, if you want to build world peace, let us begin with ourselves, individually, and I'm sure that we will all become successful. And before I conclude, let me thank Kannan for inviting me, Srinivasan for the wonderful words he said. In fact, he said, how did you get this man? In fact, these days, I'm not making too many speeches in Rotary. But then I'm trying to be as selective as possible in trying to speak wherever possible, because whenever I get a chance to speak, I do speak. But majority of the time, I speak to the youngsters, because I believe the future is with them. But I can tell you for sure that ERA is one club where I have several friends. Ramanathan, who introduced me, is someone whom I've known for many years. Kamala, sitting in front of me, is the daughter of one of my closest friends. Of course, he's no more, Annamalai. So when I see around, and a lot of people whom I know, so it's been a pleasure coming to ERA Club. Pleasure coming to this club when you have Srinivasan as the governor, your home club member as the governor of the district, and more a pleasure presenting these awards to these wonderful people. God bless all of you with good health, happiness, peace of mind, and above all, remember Rotary and continue to support us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for what you showing